tripod?
I gave up on that camera.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay.
So we're going to do a handheld shaky version.
Okay.
It's going to go on YouTube anyway, so it'll look crappy.
Oh, look authentic.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing, what separates the beekeepers from other animals such as bears who try to harvest honey is that we use smoke. What the smoke does is it changes the behavior of bees. If I were just to open the colony up right now, the hive right up, the vibration would tell the bees that they're being invaded. If instead they smell smoke first, then what they think is happening is that a forest fire is approaching the hive. And the ancestral bees that these guys derived from were able to, the queen was light enough to, hey Tara, they just fly off at a moment's notice. So if they smelled smoke, the bees would just quickly stop whatever they're doing, engorge on all the honey they could carry in their crops, and the bees and the queen will just fly off to get away from the fire. It's called absconding behavior, so they save themselves. The European honeybee, which is the bee that we keep, the queens are too fat to leave at such a moment's notice. It takes them about 3 days of restricted rations to slim down enough so they can fly away. But they still have the same relic behavior. So what you're doing is you're not making the bees calmer or anything, you're just changing them from one behavior to another. So we're going to shift these bees to absconding behavior. So what I do is I build a bed of coals at the bottom of the smoker here. Brian's uphill curve wasn't quite as good as the one I use. Oh, now he's taking his camera.
Where do the hecklers line up?
Behind you. What we want is smoke that's white and cool and dense. Like a smoke that gets going, white and cool. And very easy. You want to put your hand up, feel it? You want a firm that's cool for us? How's that? Not bad, huh? What I'll do is I'll mask my mammal scent just a little bit by putting a little bit on my hair. Okay, so now the main thing here is honeybees have only survived to the states that they're at for all these years is by defending their stores from hungry mammals, mainly bears, honey badgers, skunks, and human beings especially. We would have wiped them out, extinct, if they were not able to drive us away from harvesting their honey. Because they're going to have a bunch of very desirable honey and nutritious brood inside here. The baby bees are very nutritious. So many animals would like to get into a beehive and harvest that food. So honeybees have learned how to drive humans away. What they'll do is they'll aim for the eyes. So if you're ever get in a situation where you're near honeybees, they get upset, say you stumble into a hive or something like that, just cover your eyes. Just put your eyes away. They will also move to the top of any moving object. So you want to do the least amount of movement. Very nose fast movement. If you watch me as I open this hive, I'll move like I'm doing Tai Chi. None of my movements quick or anything like that. The other thing is they go for the smell of mammal hair. So if they see a fast moving object, they will aim for the top, go there, and take a whiff. If it smells like a tree, they don't sting it. If it smells like a mammal, then they aim for the eyes. So that's the secret. So what you want to do is get your head down, you can put your hand up like this, you move your hand, they'll fly around your hand, but they'll stay away from your face. Then head for the bushes, just head away. And if you could run into the bushes or walk into the bushes, you disappear as far as the bees are concerned. Now, none of that will happen out in the garden anywhere, because the only place bees ever defend is if you're actually breaking into their house. This is their home right here. So the human being is always the invader, and the bees are always the defender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say how to treat bees with respect. If you treat them with respect, then they will allow you to get away with a lot. Kids, you're going to see me go into this beehive. Don't try this yourself at home. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I know what I'm doing, but if you try it yourself, you're going to get stung up really bad. Every one of these bees in this hive has the potential to sting me, and if they do sting me, they will die. They'll leave the stinger inside your skin, it rips it out of their guts. And the stinger continues to pump venom for about 60 seconds after the bee has flown away. And it's very interesting to watch if you have the patience. What happens is that the stinger has muscles in it, and it's got three parts, three shafts. Two outer ones are barbed, backwards facing barbs, and they go like this. And they slowly bury themselves. It takes about 60 seconds. You can just watch the stinger just after the bee's gone, all by itself bury itself. And you'll see the venom sacs also pumping venom. So it takes just about as long as it takes the average human to be done jumping around and yelling and screaming to get the stinger out. A beekeeper, on the other hand, the moment he feels the sting, just goes and it's out. So we don't get anywhere near as much venom from a sting as the average person who puts on the show does. Okay, so if I do happen to get stung, I won't be putting on a show. I just get, all you'll notice is I just do this, and you won't even notice that I got stung. So we get lots of stings, but they're very light venom doses. And what you do is you build up an immunity. So if this young lady, what's that? We got, because of the drought, any bees in the neighborhood are very, very hungry. And they scout out other beehives to make sure, to see if they can get in there and steal their honey. So these are bees coming from other beehives trying to find their way in here. So in order to keep them from hanging around here, we put some sticky traps out there to catch them. But if you were to get stung near the eye, your face would swell up quite a bit and it would itch a lot. After you work bees for a while, you build immunity, so you still feel the sting, but you no longer.
I've been stung by it once.
You have, okay. Well, if you get stung enough, you won't swell up or itch anymore. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to look at this at the hive right here. I'm seeing if there's any bees that are acting as guard bees. Guard bees will have their two front legs up, and the other thing they'll do is if I make a movement, you can watch their head follow my movement, just like somebody watching a ping pong match or a tennis match. So looking right here. So this bee right here acting as guard. See that the head movement of this one right here? It's watching every bee coming back into the hive. It's a guard bee. That's the only bees in the hive that will sting you, except for this gentleman. Any bee might sting him. So what I'm going to do is disorient the guard bees slightly. Just a little bit of smoke across the entrance. Just change their behavior slightly. Then I'm going to go into the hive and very gently pry the lid up. They glue the hive together with tree resins that they scrape off trees. We call it propolis. And that propolis is actually to seal so no pests get in, no ants get in. It's repellent to ants and mites. And it also has strong antibiotic properties. It's used as medicine in every other country of the world except for the United States. So this material right here is propolis right here. It's this sticky substance. What the bees do is they co-opt the immune system of plants right here. So this typically what it's used to do with this is you dissolve it in alcohol and you make a tincture, and it's used for any kind of skin or mouth diseases. So you can see the colony right here. This is a small colony. Ones that we use for honey production would be stacked much higher. And the colony has an organization. Excuse me. What it does is it has a central core where they raise their baby bees. We call that the brood nest. Around the brood nest, on the outside is where they store their honey. Honey is the carbohydrates, their energy source that they get from flowers. So they bring the nectar back, you invert the sugars enzymatically, and then evaporate the water out of it so yeast can't grow in it. So the honey is stored in the outer part, so up the sides and over the top. And between the brood and the honey is a band of pollen. Pollen is the main food for bees. That's the male part of the flowers. That's why bees evolved. There's a symbiotic relationship between some flowering plants and insects to act as pollinators. So plants, primitive plants like the pine tree here, in order to get pollen from the male flowers to the female flowers, they just dump tons of pollen into the air. Those of you who are allergic to pine or cedar pollen are well aware of the amount that is wasted, just falls on the ground. Some plants learned evolutionarily if they give a little reward of sugar to insects, an insect will take a grain of pollen from a male flower and fly to a female flower, and it will brush off their bodies, and they have to produce much less pollen, much more efficient. So that's all the pollinating insects evolved from the symbiotic relationship between plants and insects. So the honeybees have evolved the highest. They use the pollen as their only protein source. So the only foods that honeybees eat, there's only 4 things they gather. The propolis from the plant resins, water to drink and to cool the hive, nectar from flowers, and pollen from flowers. Pollen is the nectar is what they make the honey from. It's the source of carbohydrates for energy. It allows them to heat the hive during the winter when it's cold outside. And the pollen is the source of all your protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, and all that. The honeybee is the only insect that maintains a body temperature above ambient temperature during the winter. All other insects just go dormant. They either die or they drop to ambient temperature. The center of this cluster right here is at 94 degrees Fahrenheit. It will be at 94 degrees Fahrenheit if it's 110 degrees Fahrenheit outside, or if it's 60 degrees below zero outside. It'll still be 94 degrees Celsius, so just a few degrees less than our body temperature. So The honeybee colony is analogous to a warm-blooded mammal, about the size of a cat or a medium-sized dog, that regulates its body temperature. But it can do a trick that mammals can't do. During the day, about a quarter of the bees in this hive can just dissolve out, cover 50 square miles looking for food, and then all come back and coalesce at night back into that warm-blooded organism. I think that's pretty cool. We call it a super organism.